Traders, happy weekend. It is Matt and Jacey with Empire Algorithmic Trading here to bring you your VWAP Visions weekly review.
It's where we take a look at stocks using the volume weighted average price, Matt, and it helps us find the best stocks in the market. So let's get right to it. It's time for a little stock talk.
Weekly review. All right, guys, welcome back. Matt, Jacey, Empire Algorithmic Trading Weekly Review. We are here to kind of wrap up what happened this last week. And as Jacey said, what a week it was. So let's dive into it, Jacey. What happened?
Well, first things first, we got the Federal Reserve out of the way as widely expected. They cut rates, right? It was pretty much baked into the pie. It looks like the market's expecting two more rate cuts, and so everything was kind of in line. Some volatility ensued, which is again kind of what we were expecting. Volatility ensued, things settled down, and off to the races we went. Hit new highs on Friday, almost across the board. New highs on the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq Composite. However, the small cap sold off a little bit on Friday, and then the mid cap sold back a little bit on Friday as well. And then, as usual, when equities rally, bonds kind of come back a little bit, but still staying looking strong, exactly where we want to be, well above the VWAP. So we're pretty safe there. And then, as of course, VIX, everything's coming down with equities rallying.
Yeah.
For the week, it was a pretty good week. We had new highs for the rally on, and for all time, I should say, on the S&P 500. The
Nice.
Nasdaq was up 2.2%. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over the net. The S&P was up 1.2% for the week. The Nasdaq was up 2.2% for the week, new high on the Nasdaq. Small caps were up about 2% for the week, new rally, new all-time high for the small caps. And then mid
Nice.
caps actually closed down for the week, which is a little bit of a disappointment to see that a little bit down 0.2%. Just kind of forming, looks like they're just forming a little handle here when you kind of zoom out a
Oh,
little bit.
yeah.
Either that or just some stubborn resistance from the all-time high over here. So we'll see. Hopefully, I doubt mid caps will drag the market down. We'll see. But all in all, it's still buyers are firmly in control. We're moving anchors pretty much every day. Stocks are breaking out, and I shouldn't say breaking out; they're blasting out. And it was a very, very strong week to be an Empire trader. That's for sure.
Well, I kind of blame myself for the mids because, we had about those 4 down days and then it had that one nice pop up and I
Yeah,
had to
right.
comment on it. And anytime I comment on something about how, wow, that looks really good, I'm really excited about that, that's what's going to happen the next day. So you just have
Well,
to be prepared for that.
do me a favor and don't comment on anything that I say I'm going to buy. How about that?
Okay, deal. I'll make sure I stay away. Well, that's it for the general markets, everybody. What a fantastic week for it all around. Like we said, hopefully see those mids kind of level out and start to play in the game again. But next, we want to talk about the big movers, what we saw as our major gains, major losses, where they went. And all of these stocks at some point in time either hit a buy or a sell signal on our algorithm and were sent to us. And you can get access to those daily buy and sell signals over at our Patreon, patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading. So, Jace, who moved? Where'd they go?
We had a huge week, Matt. OKLO is the stock of the week for sure. It was up 33% on Friday alone. For the week, it was up solid. Let's just take a look here. Up a solid 63% for the week. This one was one that and I'm almost embarrassed. I am embarrassed to say it. I meant to sell a portion of it, and I actually hit sell all and didn't realize I
Oh,
hit sell until well after the fact. And I was like, hey, where did my OKLO on? I was like, oh no. But anyhow, this was a breakout for us down at 68.99. Stock's currently at 135.23. Monster week for a lot of the nuclear stocks with the US and Britain signing a nuclear deal to basically reduce regulatory hurdles for nuclear reactors. So pretty solid week for that. It was also a really solid week for breakouts. We had almost 20 breakouts. We had another 19 buy signals, and 3 of them just exploded. Qubits is already up 46% in the 4 days since it broke out. Just a massive move from Qubits. Solaris Energy, another breakout of ours this week. I got in it on Qubits as well at 1834. And SEI at 32.19. Sold a little bit at 36.80 and change. It had a huge week as well. It's already up 16%. This one
wow.
actually did a couple of things for me. I bought into it. It shook me out the next day, and I knew
Wow.
it was going to do. I was primed and I was ready. So it didn't matter that I had to buy it at a higher price or from where I sold it. I didn't care. I knew this was that was probably a shakeout, but I always follow my rules on the downside. So followed my rules, and then I got right back in, and that thing is working out quite well. It's up 16% already. And then side time, one I did pass. I've had it a couple of times, and it's actually shaken me out at 215 both times, which I thought was interesting. Turned out to be that's the level of support. Go figure. But anyhow, it flashed another buy signal for us. I passed on that one because it just felt a little extended for me at that time. But as you can see, was
Proven wrong.
clearly not extended. It's already up 12% from missed buy point. And then PSIX was another one. That one broke out earlier this week. I did get in on this one as well. It had another solid week on its own. It was up 16%. And then we had, all in all, about 22 signals, previous signals, rally 10% or more for the week. Amplitech Group was up 16.7% for the week. IREN was up 13.7%. AppLovin was 11.6%. Rambus up 18.9%. Wi-Fi up a solid 32%. ASML up 14.5%. Commvault up 10.6%. This is another one that shook me out, and I didn't catch the shakeout breakout. I bought it here on the breakout, and it shook out hard the very next day. It was down, I think, 4.7%. So I got out, bottomed out right at the lower VWAP, and then just did a shakeout breakout the following day after that. And it was looking pretty good, but I just missed that recovery. However, I did not miss SoFi's test, so I got in on that one. It's currently at 29.51. I got in at 25.96. It had a strong 11% week. InnoData, another recent breakout of ours, up 12.8%. Harrow Incorporated up another 12.4% after really acting really tightly after its initial breakout, offered plenty of opportunities to get in on it, up 12.4% for the week. ACMR, another position of mine, up 20.1% for the week. LAU, new recent acquisition of mine, recent breakout of ours, up 32.5% for the week. Kamiko up 10.3% for the week. This one offered another couple of opportunities, kind of bubble it around. I never really got into it because it was during the red zone. But when you look at it now, that's a very nice tight flag, just blasting out of that, up 10% on the week. Bloom Energy, longtime leader. I got in at 24 and change. It's up 26% for the week, currently at 84.93. That's just a huge. I know it's getting almost to the parabolic vertical climax top. However, with climax tops, you're looking at the daily. It's usually the biggest one-day gain. So far, these gains have been, even though they're explosive, they're consistent, right? There's nothing that's really, and then there's usually massive volume with it, like the most volume it's had during its run. So I'm watching this one closely, but it just still looks like believe it or not, there's still momentum behind this trade.
Yeah.
26% for the week. And then lastly, core mining. I mean, this just mining stock is just blowing me away. I couldn't believe it at the time. Obviously, looking back at it, that's just a beautiful breakout, just a really super tight, and then just exploding out of nowhere. It was up 12.1% for the week.
Wow.
I think its breakout price was $9.89, and it's at $17.42, so almost doubled from its original breakout that I didn't quite trust. But all in all, it was a massive week for VWAP signal breakouts. We had a lot of really good signals. We had a lot of good signals on Friday, and I'm excited to go over Arrow Review because I've been taking a look at a lot of stocks, and there's a lot of really strong setups, a lot of really strong growth stocks that are just, believe it or not, just starting to cross their anchored VWAPs. So there's a lot of potential firepower back here, and it seems like a lot of the risk is behind us. So there's a lot of tailwind. So hopefully this momentum continues. As always, you got to follow your rules. If anything's going against you, stop your loss. Obviously, if stocks are going up 20, 30% in a week, there's no reason to hold anything that's going the other direction. So as always, keep your losses tight. Follow the buy rules. Don't go chasing anything. Everything we showed is already gone, right? Now's not the time to go buy those. Now's the time. You want to buy those when they first break out, when they first hit the algo signal, or when they test. That's usually when you want to buy them, not when the move has already been made. So that's where you want to sell into that strength. So right now I'm in the envious position of where do I want to take my profit, right? How much risk do I want to accept? and how much of this position do I want to hold? How much do I want to let ride? And that's a very good position to be in. Like I said before the Fed meeting, we were well positioned with some significant growth stocks, and the positioning played off very well this week.
Well, and how exciting that so many of our winners are running hard, but yet we still have so many more players coming into the game at this point in time. So it's just like, what do I do? Do I hold on to the rocket ship or do I bring myself down a little bit and diversify? And I mean, it's just a fun thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a good position to be in, right? There's too many. I was thinking today, I was looking at it, and I was like, there's just too many choices right now.
Yeah.
It's really impressive. And you got to keep in mind, I mean, we have a very tight fundamental criteria, right? There's only a couple hundred stocks out of the entire universe that fit our fundamental screens. And so when you combine that with the very tight technical criteria that we have, to have a couple of dozen stocks that are looking really, really tempting, tells you that there's some significant strength out there. So I'm pretty excited about it. I was super excited to see a lot of those stocks that we own just blast out. So there's almost too many. Like you just don't know what to do. But I send some texts to some friends like, hey, if you guys still have any cash, check these out. And everyone's like, I don't have any cash left. So everyone's fully invested. So we're already at the lockout stage.
That's beautiful. All
Yeah.
right, well, that is it for our weekly review today, guys. So thank you so much for listening on Spotify, watching on YouTube. Make sure you hit those like, subscribe buttons so you can get all of this goodness all the time. For those of you who want to learn more about who we are and what we do, head on over to our website, VWAPvision.com. That's VWAPvision.com for all of the good stuff, like our daily buy-sell signals that are kicked at us by our algorithm. If you want some arrow reviews where Jacey and I sit down and talk about those who we think are really poised for a big breakout or those who are looking like they're failing and get out now. If you want access to some educational videos where we talk about how we use these buy and sell signals in our own personal strategies, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading. And of course, follow us on all socials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, where you get your digestible daily trading information. We're there. So make sure to head on over to each of those and follow us there. And that being said, Jace, I cannot wait for arrow reviews. It's going to be a fun week. Happy trading, buddy.
Happy trading, my man. We'll see you later.
See ya.